Good morning. Good morning. Happy Saturday this morning. Uh, Glad to have you here with me this morning, whether you're coming in live or whether you are joining after the fact. This suspended animation that you can just click on it whenever. Good morning, Sarah B. I'll start with feeling words. How am I feeling this morning? I'm feeling excited. I am working on a project. My grandchildren, I have four now. My official title is Grandma Blanket, and it started almost maybe about 17 years ago. My oldest granddaughter next month will be turning 18 and graduating from high school the month after that. And I was a very young grandmother, and I said, it's just too ghetto fabulous to be this young, be walking around being called grandmother. You know, my ego, my ego. And my family took it seriously, and we did that dance for a while until she was up and walking and talking. And she's a very bright young child, first child, and mom was pouring lots of energy into her. And I had just learned to crochet. I'd gone to a clergy sabbatical right after my father died. And in that process, found a book. And I said, I'm going to teach myself how to knit. And through the knitting, I moved into crocheting. And I think I got sunburned on my face, so my face is peeling. And I had gone to California with this idea, you go on YouTube and you can crochet a blanket, a baby blanket in like 5 hours. And I was like, that's flight time. I should be able to do this. Well, I ended up with a little square. It was about the size of a pot holder, maybe 12 inches at most. And when she saw it, she says, oh my goodness, you made a blanket for my dolly. That's exactly what I did. That's exactly what I did. And we decided to have this conversation, this real intellectual conversation, me and this toddler. And I said, we better figure out what you're going to call me. I need to get a cool grandma name, but let's work on it. And so she and I had this meeting. Good morning, Mayor. And my family was in a restaurant having dinner. They had grouped up, and we were outside on the curb having this intellectual conversation, me and this toddler. And I said, well, baby, we better figure out what you're going to call me. And we thought about it. And I didn't really have a name. My mother was Nana. I don't like that. I was too young for that. Too young to be walking around being called Nana. And grandma never was something that, too young for that too. And she just looked up at me with these bright eyes and just the innocence of childhood. And she says, well, I think we should call you Grandma Blanket. And of course, my first response was, Grandma Blanket? What kind of foolishness is that, is what I said in my mind. But I'm here out because, we're having this philosophical dialogue on the street corner. And I said, well, why Grandma Blanket? And she says, well, because you make blankets for my dollies. And besides, it makes me smile. Needless to say, she didn't need to say anything more. Done, convinced, and we walked back in the restaurant. And we said, we've decided that my official name is going to be Grandma Blanket. And of course, all of them said the same thing I did. What? My baby says that I make blankets for her dollies, and it makes her smile. End of story. And 4 grandchildren left. 4 grandchildren later, I'm still Grandma Blanket. My crocheting has gotten much better over the years. And over the years, they have a string of all kinds of blankets and things that Grandma Blanket has crocheted. And so I'll be going to visit her, visit California for her graduation. She'll be graduating from high school in June. And I'm officially working on, perhaps it's the last blanket of childhood, but really it'll be the first blanket of adulthood. And finish that for her to be able to take with her either wherever she chooses. I think she's going to go to college right after. She's gotten acceptances to 2 schools, and she's making that decision. So I am feeling excited. That was my check-in. Put your check-in in the box. I'm feeling excited about getting a new project started, especially knowing that it's for that baby who helped me really sink into that name, Grandma Blanket. So how are you feeling this morning using your feeling words? And this morning, I thought I had something prepared to really share with you. And it really comes from switching gears on that. Put your feelings in the book. But chapter 14, really part two of the book. And I wanted to share something simple, but something that really has changed my life from the inside out. And we're focusing on the challenge on part four, but the rest of the book, I think, has something to say that might be beneficial. And I wanted to go there today. Um, and really, in simplicity, what I believe shapes me, my values. It shapes how I live, it shapes how I love, it even shapes how I experience my pain. The values that I hold really shape what things then traumatize me. It's the things that conflict with those values that I hold. And in chapter 14, I say it plainly, and this is a quote. It says, "Our beliefs do not just live in our minds, they live in our bodies, our habits, our fears, our choices, our very nervous systems." And I know that's the truth because I've lived it. There was a season in my life where outwardly I looked like I believed in myself. I could say all the right things, I could encourage other people. But if you looked deeper at the way I shrank from myself, from taking care of myself, um, the way I apologize for taking up space, am I being too much? At the way I exhausted myself with trying to be enough while at the same time wondering if I'm too much, you'd see a different story underneath the masks and the costumes that were on the surface. And through that reflection, I realized my healing wasn't stuck because I wasn't trying hard enough. My healing was often stuck because my foundation was still cracked. In chapter 14, one of the tenets that I now live by, one of the deep and unmoving stones in my personal foundation is this: I'm created with an intentional divine purpose. I don't suggest that that's everyone's value, but I suggest it's a good one to consider. I'm created with intentional divine purpose. That's my value system. It's what I share in the book. But I believe that my existence is not by accident. It's not by mistake. It's not as an afterthought. It's intentional. It's divine. And it's on purpose. That truth is not just a pretty poem or a pretty affirmation. It really is the architecture and the foundation of my worth. It's the blueprint for my healing. It's the solid ground under my feet when the storms come. And they do. Life is real. Life keeps lifing. My foundation, though, is built on that as truth. But to even get to that place, I had to do some honest excavating to get down to that foundation level in my own life. I had to sit myself down, sit down somewhere, and ask, what story have I been living by? What story does my body believe, even when my mouth says something different? Were there silent agreements that I've made without even knowing it? Like, you're only worthy if you're useful. You're only lovable if you perform perfectly. You're only safe if you betray parts of yourself to fit in. I didn't sit down and sign a contract to believe these things, but they had been sewn into me, cultured into me through family, through culture, through survival. And healing asked me not just to feel better. Healing asked me to believe better. The believing better gets me to the feeling better eventually. So I started rebuilding very slowly, very painfully sometimes, if I'm being honest. Very painfully a lot of times, if I'm being real honest. I stopped focusing so much on fixing myself and started focusing on the foundation work. I started asking if I really believed, like deep in my bones, that I was made with intentional divine purpose, how would I live differently? If I believed that, how would it show up in my life? Would I still apologize for existing in the way that I exist? Would I still measure my worth by how busy I am? Would I need the busyness to feel worthy? Would I still tolerate people and places that make me feel disposable? or invisible. And I had to admit, if my foundation was really made of that kind of love, some of my behaviors would have to change. Like if I really believed that, I would have to be different. And here's what I want to invite you to pause with me and think about. What if your foundation was already healed? Like just pretend. Close your eyes for a moment if you really want to. And imagine you wake up tomorrow morning. You don't have anything to prove. You don't have anything to defend. You don't have anything to earn. You don't have to apologize for taking up space. If you woke up tomorrow and you realized fully that you were loved, that you were whole, that you were necessary, just because you exist, how would you live differently? How would you love differently? How would you pray? How would you breathe? How would you move? How would you dream differently? How would you dream differently about the life you really wanted to live? Healing isn't just about patching up the cracks. It's about pouring a whole new foundation for our lives, one that does not crumble every time life shakes you, one that doesn't betray you when the world gets harsh, one that holds you firmly, lovingly, because it was built on truth. That's the solid foundation of our lives. And so today I want to share the sacred blueprint that's holding me up. If I put it in affirmations, it would sound something like, I'm not a cosmic accident. I'm not somebody's afterthought. I'm not a scribble in the margins of life of someone. I'm the work of divine imagination, come alive in this body, in this form, in this shape, in this time. And if it's true for me, perhaps it can be true for you too. Because love didn't run out after me being made. Love didn't get tired after making me, didn't get exhausted or used up. You two were dreamed up and crafted and breathed into being on purpose. So today, I think we're at day 12 of this 30-day challenge. I'm inviting you into a foundation check, not a judgment, not a shame spiral, but really taking time to do a sacred inventory. Lay your beliefs out in front of you and ask, does this belief honor the truth of who I am? Does this belief honor the sacredness of my existence? Does my belief honor the masterpiece I was created to be? And if it doesn't, that's what this challenge is about. It's not too late to pour new cement, to realign ourselves with values, with our foundation. It's not too late to tell yourself a truer story. Step one, can we tell our stories in truth? Can we get honest with ourselves and retell our stories from a standpoint of truth? Steps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5A, truth telling. To who? To myself. It's not too late to build a home inside of you where your worthiness is never up for negotiation. What I believe shapes me every day, and what you believe is shaping you too. So this work is about bravery, having the courage to believe better. And part of my challenge to you is to be bold enough to believe in the beauty of our own existence, but tender enough at the same time, compassionate enough to rebuild in love. Even if we have to start at the ground floor, there's no home worth building than the one we build with a strong foundation. A home where our souls can really finally be free to live. And that really is my charge for you. Believing better. Not just hoping for better, not just wishing for better, but believing better. And if your beliefs, if you're finding through this process that your beliefs need to be realigned and be better, then that is what this challenge is about us challenging what we believe. And then about us finding those areas of our life that don't line up. They're out of alignment with our beliefs. At the very core of this work, that is ground zero of trauma. But we need to know what are the things that we believe that shape our lives. And so that's my challenge to you today. Take a read of part 2 if you haven't. Chapter 14 talks about the values that I present for sustainable community as part of the Our House, Our Home model for how we do community redevelopment and healing. Your beliefs matter. These steps talk about what are your beliefs, values, expectations. We shape them in those frameworks most times, but it's the same. What do you believe? And for me, starting with what do I believe about me was important. Do I believe that just the fact that I woke up this morning means that there is worthiness to my existence? That's one of those dad stories that I tell often. Every morning, my dad was on hospice when I relocated him to Georgia at the time from California. Feeding tube that they put in that I'm supposed to monitor. They gave me a stethoscope. I have a hard time putting Band-Aids on straight, so it was a stretch. And he said, "What's the worst that's gonna happen? I'm gonna die." What? Sir, you may see that happen, but I did my best. And every morning, because he's corny like me, he's corny. I'm corny like him. Maybe that's a better way. He would wake up. And every morning he would do it the same way, and it would catch me every morning. And he would go just straight face, serious. "Oh my gosh! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!" And I'd go, "Oh no! What? And he'd say, "I woke up." And I'd do, "Oh man, your crazy self. Every morning you do this, and it startles me, and I get all worked up, and my adrenaline starts running. I'm thinking something really wrong." And he kind of chuckles, and he gets silent, and he does this comedic pause that was my dad. And he'd say, "It's on purpose. I woke up. It's on purpose." And then he'd pause again. Every single morning he'd do this. So it got to be this funny joke that was over and over, but it was serious. And then he'd say, "I guess I better figure out why." And like that was his entrance to the morning. Talking about morning affirmations. I woke up. It's on purpose. Let me go figure out why. And like that was him showing me. I thought in the time, in the moment, like I'm learning how to face death with dignity, unflinching. Not fully the truth. That was part of it. But my dad was teaching me how to live life fully every day. If I wake up today, it's on purpose. All I have to do is live today well and leave today with no regrets. At the end of every day, the closing of this joke, because my dad was epic, corny, dad joke kind of person. At the end of every day, he'd be in bed and he'd be thinking and pondering. You could see it. He's thinking, his mind is going. And he'd say, just out of the blue, "Yep, I'm at peace with God." And then he'd pause, like he's in real thought, like he's searching. And he'd say, "I've done everything I can do to be at peace with others. If I wake up tomorrow, I'll do it again. Going to bed with no regrets. If I don't wake up tomorrow, it means I'm done. My assignment is over. Whatever it was I was supposed to accomplish, it has been accomplished and I'm done. I may leave things unfinished, but my work is done." And I realized in that that's how you live fully. That's how you live where it doesn't matter whether you live or die. And my dad liked living. He said, "This cancer is horrible. I like those retirement checks." I'm with him now that I'm in retirement. He says, "I like them retirement checks. I want to get some more of them." I like the whole idea of that, of retirement. But if I'm done, don't hold me up for whatever's next. He was Christian. Heaven. But my dad was always a questioner. Maybe it's heaven, but who knows? You don't know what's going to be next. But whatever it is, I'm ready for it. And so our values, the very worthiness of my existence is built into the fact that I woke up this morning. If I woke up and took a breath, the universe is not wasting its oxygen on me. There's a reason. And all I need to do, and all sounds little, but it's everything, is figure out why. Sometimes just living life and we don't know all the details of the why, but I'm here on purpose. The interactions that I have with people, am I leaving good seeds? Am I watering it with water that's as pure as I can get coming from my heart? Is it loving? And then wherever life takes the Lorana version of that, am I living life fully? Am I living it with no regrets? Am I living it because I believe that I am intentional? I'm here on purpose. So I challenge you today, your beliefs matter. Your beliefs matter. Your beliefs matter. And that is the foundations that we're called to live from. Check our foundation to make sure it's solid. Make sure there's not cracks. Make sure that it will withstand the lives that we're called to live. And I believe they are. So that's my motivation for you this morning. Let's see. Good morning, Sarah and Mare and Jackie and Mentally Magnificent and Mari. Good morning. I hope that you are challenging your very beliefs, your values. My dad was cool. He was a cool old guy. Took his last motorcycle ride the week before he died with that feeding tube strapped to his behind his ear because I'm his daughter and I facilitate things. But it was a pivotal time in my life of really getting to know my father well. Some things that I didn't know I needed, like approval. Didn't realize that the approval of my father would mean so much in my healing journey. Being able to learn the lessons that he gave me before he died, letting me know that even as parents, we have what we need to be able to give our children, not perfection. My dad wasn't perfect. He was not a model dad they were divorced parents. They had issues. And one of his issues was my mama. I understand that from an adult standpoint, from having failed relationships. I understand. And I'm like my dad, and I know the tension that I had with my mother. I could imagine being the ex-husband and just all of that. He wasn't a model father, but he had some things he was supposed to give me. And he completed that mission. One of the lessons that he gave me was finish well. All of us got obstacles in the way in life. Finish well. Finish well. And he lived that example. He let me walk beside him through his life. When I talk about living life fully today, I saw that every time I use that. It's a reminder of the lessons of my father. When I walked beside him in life and saw him, death didn't scare him. He wasn't going to death with regrets. I saw what that looked like, and that really was him teaching me how to live, not how to die, how to live. Because if you live like that, whether you wake up tomorrow or not, there's no regrets. And so I'm grateful for the lessons that he taught me, but I'm grateful for the lessons he lived. Because he could have told me it, and I wouldn't have understood fully. Might have still been good wisdom. But he taught me what he could live, so I saw through his life what it meant, what it felt like. Some of the rabbit trails my daddy sent me on were him living his fullness. And then I realized he was sending me on similar rabbit trails to the antics that I carry on to this day, because I can find some fun and some antics and some people and instigate some stuff. That's my daddy. And I saw him doing it because it gave him joy. It gave him joy. And I saw the joy that radiated to the other people around him. He taught me how to live life fully today. Because he said, that's all I got. That's all I got today. And if I wake up tomorrow, yay, I'm here. I woke up. Yay, it's on purpose. Let me go figure out why. Because he taught me, do your work first, then go play. Do your work first, go play then. And so finding purpose in each day. And it's not sometimes a big thing. It's a smile to someone that I don't even know. It's a kind word. It's a kind gesture. It's the big stuff too. But it's doing the things that we feel called to do. This morning, why am I up at 6 o'clock, dark 30 in the morning, talking to people that I can't see from this, vantage point, this lens? Because it's the things I feel called to do. And what if I did those things so that I leave today with no regrets? Well, you give us too much, it's going to be on you. My conscience is going to be clear. Get it, don't get it. The book's written, use the tools, don't use the tools, but it's out there for you. Conscience clear. I want to make sure God, the universe, did my part, did what I feel called to do. Now it's up to everybody else. I'm a farmer. Plant that seed and keep it moving. Keep it moving. If I'm given the opportunity, you all have given me the opportunity to come water this seed. the seed, these tools to come water it with you, and I'm grateful. Try to water it with the purest water that I have. But then it ain't up to me for it to grow. Good seeds try their best to grow. So check your foundations today. Check your foundations. Thank you for letting me share. Drop your feelings in there. Let's see. Feeling confident, feeling valued. Excellent. Excellent. I'm feeling excited about my new blanket project that's going on. How are you feeling? Any questions about the steps? I've pinned at the, I'm pointing like you can see what I'm pointing at. I pinned at the top of the chat one of the other playlists that has about 7 or 8, maybe 9 different training videos. All of them, different settings, different people, different reasons why I recorded it, but walking you through the steps. It'll give you some other perspective. Sometimes we talk about a little bit of different things because of that person's experience, but those are some other options to help guide you through using these tools, because we want you to learn how to use these tools. I believe they're highly effective in helping us rethink life in ways that help heal us and remove the trauma. So that's there. They're all the same information, just in different formats. So feel free to use those as your backup support when you're not here with me, to go through those training. They're meant for you to pause and do the work, and then unpause and go to the next step, and then pause and do the work. So you can use them as a real-time coach, a virtual coach, to give you that training one-on-one if you're going through these steps. So I put that there as a resource for you. There's another playlist that has the specific step-by-steps that tie into the book layout, chapter by chapter. You can find it in my playlists on YouTube. Good luck. It's kind of an interesting collection, but it's there. Go find it if you need it. And we'll be having a group exhale. 8 o'clock my time, which will be 9 o'clock Eastern time. You can calculate your time zone based on that. Right after this, it's in the Google Meet. If you do not have the link, if you're not in that calendar group, then just send a message to me and I'll shoot that Google Meet link to you. I'm just there. It's nothing formal, but if you want to come chat and really decompress from what you've been doing, what you've been experiencing, it's kind of the woosah, but time to be able to share, because that sharing is really what helps us all, be able to identify, but also some tidbits of wisdom you might pick up in your experience, the revelation that you get, the aha moments, that it may be beneficial for the others. And so that format lets us be able to really have a conversation versus this monologue format that we've got with YouTube, because I don't know how to do no differently. So if you can help me know how to do differently, then let me know. But I don't know how to bring guests into the video, and I don't know how to do all that. So if somebody knows how to do that and wants to spend some time teaching me, then we could probably do it here. But for now, Google Meet. So I will be in silent mode, and I will see those of you that want to join us, that have time to join us, in Google Meet at the end of this session. All right. Feel free to drop your feelings in the chat so that we can identify with you as well. And happy working. I'm going to go into quiet time because I've talked a whole lot this morning. But thanks for joining. Thank you all for joining. Mayor, thanks for joining us today. Um, we hope that you have taken the opportunity to intentionally invest in your healing. And so, if you'd like more information about the Healing Challenge, you can go to www.nowastedtime.com. And the book is available there online or on Amazon. And join us for the 30 days. We're on day number 12. All right, you guys have a great weekend. Happy Saturday and happy healing. Thank you for letting me be a part of your healing journey as we heal together. Happy Monday. For those that have time, we'll join you over in the group exhale on Google Meet. Happy weekend.